Hello and welcome to our new algebra classroom. So today is the official first day of distance learning for MBA. And I'm sure you have received your email from Ms. LePan. We are sticking with our A day and B day schedule. And so what that means is that if you are in my A3 or my A4 algebra classroom, then you are watching this video on Monday, March 30th. However, if you're in my B1 or B3 class, then you should be watching this video on Tuesday, March 31st. And so I'm going to keep the date up there so that we can help organize which video goes with which day of distance learning. And then in that section, I'm always going to keep the title of the skill that we'll be working on, so that if you do need extra practice, you can search that skill to find other videos. I'll be posting links to other videos that have already been recorded. That way, if my explanation doesn't help, maybe somebody else explaining it will help you. So we also have our joke of the week. I'm going to update that weekly so that we can keep as many things similar to what our classroom was like when we were at school. So back to the skill. The skill that we're going to be working on today is actually some review. And I know we've spent the last 2 weeks at home practicing the skills that we already had. But this week we're going to continue doing that. So today we're going to kind of review the skills from Unit 2, where we are solving equations. And then the quizzes that I'll be posting for you to complete will have the same types of questions. Now don't forget, at the end of your quizzes, I'm going to try to keep our daily 3 routine going, which means you'll still be expected to simplify an expression, obviously solve an equation, and then I'm going to try to keep practicing with our fractions, our adding and subtracting fractions. So we're going to keep those skills going. We're going to get right to this example, and we are going to be practicing still using all of our math vocab. So when we do get back to school, I don't want you just say I did this and that. I want you using those math terms that we've been practicing all year long. We just finished trimester 2, which means each of you have presented at least 4 teacher for a problem presentations. So keep your math vocab. You should be saying it when I say it. When you're solving your own equations, you should be thinking about what you should be saying if you were presenting that problem. So here we have a nice equation. We're going to get going. We're going to go through the steps. We'll go through what the title of that step is, and then we'll talk about how we problem solve. So, for the time being, I really am a big fan of separating our equation into 2 sides so that we can keep our equation nice and balanced. The very first step that we need to look for, if we need it, is distributive property. And in this case, we do need to distribute this 3 to everything that's inside of those parentheses, which means we'll be taking 3 and multiplying it by x, and then 3 times our -4. So when I do that math out, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times, that's a -4, don't forget. You should watch Dr. Shaw's math story time if you're not sure why. So 3 times -4 will be -12. And then of course I have to bring down whatever I haven't touched. So we still have this equation being set equal, this expression 3x minus 12 is equal to 9. So now that we've completed distributive property, we need to look for any of our like terms. And so we do have some like terms, these constants, but they're on different sides of our equations, which means we have to use inverse operations. So if this says 3x minus 12, the inverse of subtracting would be addition. And so if I take my -12 and add 12 to it, that's going to give me 0. But to keep my equation balanced, that property of equality, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So this side also needs to be adding 12 to keep it balanced. And so when I bring down 9 plus 12, I've got 21. And the term that I haven't used over here will be 3x. So already we've started to solve, but now we brought down our leftovers and we still have a 1-step equation. And don't forget that invisible operation, when you have a number right next to a variable, that's multiplication. And the inverse of multiplying would be division. So we are going to divide both sides of my equation by 3. And again, 3 divided by 3 is 1, which leaves us with 1x. That's what we'd like. And 21 divided by 3 would be equal to 7. So we now have an example solved for us. If we wanted to check that solution, I could take x equals 7 and substitute it back into my original equation to make sure that this expression simplifies to give me 9. So if you'd like to practice that at home, you should check your solution. Let me know if it works. Otherwise, I'm going to be posting a link to a quizzes that has a bunch of equations to solve. And then we'll be working on our next video on Wednesday, April 1st if you're A Day, or Thursday, April 2nd if you're B Day. And that unit we're going to be reviewing will be inequalities. So we're going to need to master this or make sure that we understand everything here, and then we'll be able to move forward. So once you watch this video, I'm going to post links to other videos that involve solving equations, and then you have to complete your quizzes. And that's it for the day. I miss you guys. I wish we were back in school. Stay healthy.